I got another box from Amazon. I'll give you a hint. It's made by Pinwheel. Let's open it up, see what we have. Can you tell what it is yet? Probably not. Lots of packing. There it is. A Pinwheel. Quality of gardening, quality of life. It's a 120-foot garden hose with a 5-foot reel. Garden hose reel. Anyway, I'm going to mount this to the side of my house, and then I can pull my garden hose out to water the plants, wash a car, and not have hose laying all over out in the flower bed or the yard. So I'm going to get situated and we'll go mount this to the side of the house. Well, I'm looking at the packaging. It almost looks like maybe it was opened and then resealed. I hope not. Normally when you get something somebody's opened, they've taken something out of it. They didn't get it all put back in. I hope that's not the case here. Well, it looks to be intact. So maybe it just got damaged in shipping a little bit on the lid there. Like instructions. Well, you know what instructions are good for. You look at those when you're all done to see what you did wrong, to see where the extra parts go. If I remember right from the video, so these are the bolts and screws. Like, they even have lag screws. These are going into concrete. We're not going to go into masonry, so we won't need those. So you mount this bracket to the side of your house, and then there's a metal pin on the wheel itself that goes down in this hole, and then that's what holds it, and that way it can swivel back and forth. And so if I put it on the corner of my house, I can use it to the side of my house and the front of my house. So I'll get set up, see what tools I need. So here's what we're looking at. We got the bracket to mount to the wall, a new sprayer. That's good because mine's about shot. And if I remember right, it comes with a 5-foot lead hose. This you screw into your faucet. That's where the water comes from. And then you got your new 120-foot hose that comes out the retracting part. I'm really looking forward to this. Let me get out there and see where I'm going to mount it. So that's kind of what it's going to look like when it's set up, except it'll be straight up and down like that. So I've got to be close enough to my spigot, which is over here. I have one over there, but it's really close to the ground and it leaks when the water's on. I need to fix that. But this would be a good place to put it, right in this corner. And then it's kind of out of the way, but I don't want to take the time to fix that faucet down there right now. So I guess I'm going to put it on this corner. Now the question is, do I put it on the north side, which is the short side of the house, where my junk is, or do I put it out here where on the front of the house, where it's going to get used the most going out? We have these flowers out here and trees, bushes. We also wash our cars out on the other side of that tree. That's the main reason I got this, so I can go wash cars maybe all the way over there to the other driveway on the other side of that ledge. I'll have to do some thinking here. I just don't know what's behind. We got this little pipe sticking out of the ground right there. I'm constantly tripping on it. And the hose gets caught on it. Anyway, the question is, what's behind here? If I mount it right on the corner and put a little spacer in there, Is there a 2x something back there to hold on to it? Because the thing's kind of heavy. I don't want it falling off on the ground, that's for sure. So here's what I'm looking at. I've got some leftover lag bolts, and they are 13 millimeter on the socket end, and they're about 3 inches long, so that'll go into the wall plenty long enough. I've got my small impact driver, cordless, the 13 socket on it, 13 millimeter. And then I got a 1/4 inch drill bit. I'll pre-drill the holes with that. That'll hold better and less chance of splitting anything. And once I get the left side mounted, I'm going to have to find some kind of a spacer for the right side. So let me start on that. Well, I got 2 lag bolts in. I just tried to make sure the hole was the same from this edge over. That way when I get done it should be pretty much straight up and down. Now it's pretty solid the way it is. Not that I'm going to leave it that way, but I'm going to go ahead and set that reel on there just to see what it's going to look like. So that's what it's going to look like when it's all done. And the nice thing is it swivels, so if I'm watering out to the north of my property, I can swing it over this direction. And I might have enough room when I'm not using it. There, yeah, I can just swing it right up against the house. And that it'll put less pressure on the hose when you're reeling it out if you're going the right direction. And then hopefully I should have just enough. I didn't really plan this out. There we go. I got just enough to hook this up to there with nothing left over, so that's perfect. All right, let me see if I can find a spacer board and get those last 2 lag screws in. So I had this piece of scrap wood. It's about 1 foot wide and it's about 4 foot long, so I just cut off a piece big enough that I have some room to put some screws to hold it to the wall. And then I'll put my other 2 lag bolts into that. Hopefully that will make it solid enough to last. This stuff seems to be waterproof. It's left over from when I rebuilt my porch, and it holds up pretty good to the weather. So let me get a few screws in here. I brought a different drill bit, a little bit smaller. I'll pre-drill about 4 holes, and then I'll put these 3-inch screws into there to hold that on the wall, and then put my other lag bolts in. I guess if you're going to put in screws, you should have a screwdriver. So I got my screwdriver attachment for my drill so that I can put these screws in. I like to use it whenever I can. It's better than screwing things by hand. It's kind of slow and hard work. I got 1 screw in, then my battery died. So I stole the battery out of the other drill and putting these screws in the bottom of the siding, there and here. That way it's more solid. Once I get these 2 in, I don't know if I need to, but I might put another one over here. And probably not another one. That'll probably be all I put in. But this drill makes it so much easier because it's a impact drill, so it helps kind of hammer the screws in if it's a little tight. Oops. I can stay on top of the screw. There. In all actuality, that would probably hold it, but I am going to put another screw right there. Well, just to make it easier, I took the reel off. That way I can get a better shot on my pre-drill. I can just line it straight up. Now I almost wish, and that one's going to be a little bit crooked. The best thing to do would be to mark your holes and then pre-drill them without this bracket on there so you can get a straight shot. It's easy on the top 2, but the bottom 2, the drill hits the bracket, so you can't go in straight. But it's okay. It's not rocket science, right? Just putting in some bolts. So let me switch my batteries and grab my other tool here. I do have another battery. If I was doing a bunch of work, I would go put one of these on the charger and use my other good one. But since I'm only doing a few holes, it's not necessary. I'll pre-start those bolts and then we'll hammer them home with the drill. There, that should be pretty solid. Now if you don't have drills like I have, you could just use a regular drill for putting these lag bolts in, or you can even use a ratchet, socket and a ratchet. I just find it's a lot faster if I'm using my cordless drills. I've got a little heavier duty one of these too, that's a bigger impact. It's a 1/2 inch. Sometimes I use that on lug nuts if I'm taking them out, or bigger bolts. I thought about bringing it out here, but I didn't think I'd need it. So let me get this hung back up on there and see how it looks. So once I was putting that on there, I noticed it's got four, it's almost like a cross on the bottom of here, so that goes down into a groove. And this has a taper to it, so it locks in that position. And then you can pivot it to the side. There you can see the gap. And I guess you could put that in however you want. I could lift it up. I could put the indentation so it swung over here by the building. Lock it into that position there, which I may do that because that's where it's going to be at most of the time, just to make it out of the way. But this is going to be really handy. I get my other hose hooked up. You just pull out on the hose, and like I said, it goes 120 feet, and then it'll stop wherever you stop. When you quit pulling, it stops. You just give it a little tug, and it reels back in, and it's made so this bracket goes back and forth and winds it evenly, so you don't end up with a big batch of hose in one spot and nothing in the other spot. This is really cool. I'm really glad I bought it after years and years of putting up with this. Hose laying all over. This hose is really cheap. It kinks whenever, you can see there's a kink right there. If you don't turn the water on before you pull it, you end up with a bunch of garbage like that, and then you won't have any water pressure. So I might just throw that hose away or save it for emergencies, I guess. But this goes 120 feet. It's going to be really handy. And if I'm working over here watering this part, see my 4 dead trees over there because it was 100 and some degrees for 2 months last year. Couldn't keep up on the watering with our automatic sprinklers. Killed them off. So anyway, now I'll get this hooked up to the water source and we'll try it out. Well, I got it hooked up to my water source over there. Evidently that's not off all the way. I guess up is off. So I was going to show you getting the air out of the hose, but it's already out. So now this is pretty awesome. Shut it off. I can pull it out over here. It'll stop. Hopefully. There. Now the hose is right here where I need it. I can water my flower bush. I don't even know what it's called, but it's going to appreciate getting watered a little more regularly. Just have to take the time to come out here and do it. Well, if you're thinking about getting one of these, if you're tired of chasing hoses, I would highly recommend it. I can't tell you about longevity, but just convenience. The hose rolls up. So I'm not going to be able to flip it to the side because there's not enough hose here. But that's alright. I can keep it there. I'll be fine with that. Now I can go around and water the flowers, and it's just going to be so much more convenient. Again, this one's made by Pinwheel. I think it's 3/8 hose. It's 120 feet long. The tools you're going to need: some kind of a ratchet or socket to put the lag bolts in. And it doesn't come with the well, let's see. It came with small lag bolts, come to think of it. So depending on what your house is like, you could drill, it looks like a 1/2 inch hole. Put these plastic clips in and put your lag bolts into there. It also has the bigger ones that go into concrete. If you had a really solid wall, you could just put straight lag bolts in there, not have to worry about it falling out. Then I pre-drilled mine with about a 1/4 inch wood bit, and that makes it go in easier. You don't want a drill bit that's bigger than your bolt. You want one that's about the same size as the main body, and then the threads will catch and hold really good. And what else? If you have to use screws like I did, of course you'll need some kind of screwdriver. Phillips works pretty good. This is a good height. My wife's quite a bit shorter than me, so she can grab it and pull it out. I'm probably just going to be in the habit of shutting the water off all the time, because if something goes wrong, like something breaks, I don't want to have a flood, and I don't want to run out hundreds of gallons of city water, which is what I have to water with here, because we don't have irrigation water like everybody else. Some idiot sold his irrigation rights off a long time ago. So we have to water our backyard and all the flowers with city water. It gets a little expensive. I think my water bill is about $200 a month in the summer. It's only $40 or $50 the rest of the year when I'm not watering outside. Thanks for watching. If this helps you, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. At least give it a thumbs up. I'm going to actually try to get up to 1,000 subscribers sometime this year, and then maybe I can monetize my channel, start making a few bucks from my videos. I don't know if that'll happen, but I'm going to try. Thanks again for watching.